since I made a YouTube video, and I'm back with a cute little tutorial for you guys. So for today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to make this super cute caramel pudding trinket box. If you're a fan of Sanrio or Bonbon Purin, this is the project for you. It's a really simple project and the end result is so worth it. So go grab your yarn, go grab all your stuff, and let's get started on making this super cute box. The materials that you would need are your yarns. I'm using milk cotton yarn, so any DK weight yarn should work fine. You'll need 5 colors. Your main yellow color for the caramel, and then your yellow color for pom-pom, brown color, red for the cherry on top, and white for the cream. Here are the other materials that you would need. For the hook, you'll need a 3.5mm crochet hook, a needle to do all your sewing, a stitch marker, a pair of scissors. You'll need a box. I'm using a wooden box. The dimensions are 8 cm by 8 cm and 4.5 cm tall. I'll also be using a screwdriver to remove this latch on the front as we won't be needing it anymore. Some stuffing and also some beads. Oh, and you'll also need a glue gun. So yeah, let's get started on the tutorial. I'm actually going to be removing this front latch lock thingy using a screwdriver because we won't be needing it. So now I have removed the latch from the front. And now we're going to start by making the bottom of the caramel. Grab your yellow colored yarn for the caramel and we'll start by making a magic ring. This is how I make a magic ring. With 2 fingers, I bring the yarn tail over my 2 fingers and bring it across, forming an X like that. Then I hold the point where it joins with my thumb. I bring the loop off and I twist it. Take my hook, insert it into the loop, and grab this yarn from the skein and bring up one loop, twist it slightly, and yarn over, bring through the loop on your hook. So that is a magic ring. So now we have also made a chain 1, so now we're going to do another 2 chains, 1 and 2. So now we have 3 chains and we're going to do 2 double crochets into the magic ring. Yarn over, insert your hook into the magic ring, yarn over, bring through bring through the magic ring, yarn over, bring through the first 2 loops, yarn over, and bring through the next 2 loops. That is a double crochet. I'm gonna repeat that one more time. Yarn over, insert the hook into the magic ring, yarn over, bring up 1 loop, yarn over, bring through the first 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, bring through the next 2 loops. So now we have made a chain 3 and 2 double crochets. So the chain 3 counts as a double crochet, so now we have 3 double crochets. Now we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. We're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now we have made 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets. So chain 2, do 3 double crochets again, 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2 and 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. So now we groups of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're gonna do chain 2. 1 and 2. Pull on this tail to close the hole. Now we're gonna slip stitch onto the top of the chain 3. 1, 2, 3 into the third chain. And slip stitch. This is our first round. For round 2, we're going to start by doing a chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. So this counts as a double crochet, and we're going to do 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. Yarn over, and 1 double crochet, yarn over, and 2 double crochet. So now we have 1 double crochet in each stitch. Now we have reached a corner space, a chain 2 space. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 double crochets into the chain 2 space, 1 and 1 more, 2. So now we have 5 double crochets so far. So we're going to chain 2 and insert another 2 double crochets into the chain 2 space, 1 and 2. So that is how we make a corner. Into each chain 2 space, we'll do 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet. Now we're going to make a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So 1 double crochet and 2 double crochet and 3 double crochet. Now we've reached another corner space. So 2 double crochet, 1 and 2, chain 2 and 2 double crochet, 1 and 2. Now double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, and 3. We've reached another corner space, so repeat the same thing, 2 double crochets, 2 chain, and 2 double crochet, 1 and 2, chain 2, 1 and 2. Last one, 1 double crochet into each stitch, 1, 2, 2, and 3. Last corner space, 2 double crochets, 2 chains, and 2 double crochets, 1, 2, chain 2, 1 and 2. Now we're going to join with a slip stitch onto the top of the chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the third chain, and that is round 2. Now we're going to start round 3. Chain 3, 2, 3. That's our first double crochet. Now we're going to do double crochet into the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to repeat the same thing for the corner, 2 double crochets, 2 chains, and 2 double crochets, 1, chain 2, and 1 and 2 double crochets. So the pattern is basically in each stitch you do 1 double crochet, and then when you reach a corner space you do 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, all into the same chain 2 space for the corner. So repeat that pattern all the way around. We have now reached the end of the round, and we're going to slip stitch onto the top of the chain 3. 1, 2, 3, slip stitch. As you can see, my square is now the same size as my box. For round 4, we're going to be working into the back loops only. The back loops are the loops facing away from you. You can see a stitch consists of 2 loops, 1 and 2. This is the front loop, and this loop at the back is the back loop. So we're going to be working into that loop only. To begin, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, working into the back loops only, double crochet into each stitch around, including the chain 2 at the corners. I'll show you how to do that once we reach the first corner. So as you can see, the next 2 stitches are the chain 2. So we're gonna do the same thing, we're just gonna double crochet into the back loops. Back loop, 1 and 2. And now we're gonna do that all the way until we reach the end of the round. And now, to close this round, we're gonna slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. 1, 2, 3, third chain, slip stitch. For the next round, we're gonna be working into both loops. So start by doing a chain 3. Now we're gonna do a double crochet into each stitch around. We're gonna slip stitch onto the top of the chain 3. As you can see, it fits really nicely onto the box, and there's a bit of space here, but that's fine because when we glue the cover onto the box, we can adjust it so it will stick to the top better. Okay, we've already slip stitched just now, so just chain 1 and fasten off. You can now cut your yarn. And now we'll weave in these 2 yarn ends. We have to start making the top. But it's basically the same, it's just that we'll be using brown and yellow yarn, and we'll have to do 1 round less than the bottom, and we'll also have to make the drips for the caramel sauce part using brown yarn. And that is round 3. Now grab your box to check the size. So with my brown yarn, somehow it ends up a little bit smaller than a box, but it's fine because we can just stretch it out when we attach it to the box later. And you can also try crocheting looser for the next round if this happens to you. Now we're not gonna fasten this off yet. We're gonna grab our yellow yarn, pull up a bigger loop so that it doesn't come undone, so that it doesn't unravel. Grab your yellow yarn and make a slip knot. Now we're gonna attach this yellow yarn onto this brown color. The pattern is actually the same. This is round 4, and we're gonna be working into the back loops only. So I like to just attach my yarn near where I ended the brown color, around here. Remember, into the back loops only. So yeah, I'm just gonna attach mine here, grab my slip knot, pull, and make a chain 1. Hold still a bit to tighten it. So that's a chain 1, and I'm going to do 2 more chains. 1 Make sure you don't crochet over this brown yarn, just drop it. And make sure this loop stays this way. If it gets smaller, it might unravel your work. You can grab the yellow yarn tail because we're gonna be crocheting over it to hide it. So remember, we're gonna work into the back loops only, these loops. Yarn over, double crochet into each stitch around. Remember to crochet over your yarn tail. Just hold it here. Back loop only, double crochet. Now I'm almost at the end of the round. I just have a few more stitches left. So I just want to remind you guys, the yarn, the brown yarn, the yarn that's still attached to the skein, make sure you pull it over like this, because I made a mistake of crocheting over it before this, and like you want it to be over here. The last stitch will be here, right above this chain 3 from the previous round. For this stitch, I'm just gonna insert it into this loop I see here at the back. Okay, so that is my last stitch. Make sure this yarn is over here before you close this round. So slip stitch onto the top of the chain 3. Okay, so after you slip stitch, chain 1 and fasten off. At the end, you can check the size of the box. It's actually a bit small because the brown yarn turned out a bit smaller, but it's fine because I can adjust it when I glue it onto the box later on. We're gonna continue with the pattern for the brown, the caramel sauce drips. Since we worked into the back loops only for round 4, these are the front loops. You can see it creates a line like this. So we're going to be working into these loops only to make the drips. Working into the front loops only, we're going to do 2 single crochet starting from the next stitch. So this stitch, single crochet, insert your hook into the front loop only, and single crochet, another single crochet into the next stitch, and then a half double crochet into the next stitch. Yarn over, set your hook, single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 2. 4 slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 2. 1 slip stitch into the next stitch. Now we're going to start making the first drip. To make the drip, we'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3, starting from the second chain from the hook. Second chain from the hook, skip the first one, this second chain, we're going to do a half double crochet. Into the next chain, make a single crochet, slip stitch into the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. Next we're going to do single crochet, half double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, and single crochet into the next stitch. Slip stitch into the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. Then we're going to do another drip. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, half double crochet into the second chain, and single crochet into the third chain, slip stitch into the next stitch. Now we're gonna do a single crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, half double crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, and slip stitch into the next stitch. Now we're gonna make another trip, chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, half double crochet into the second chain, single crochet into the third chain, now we're gonna do slip stitch into the next 5 stitches. So 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 5. We're going to do a single crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, half double crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, slip stitch into the next stitch. We're going to make another trip, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, half double crochet into the second chain, single crochet into the third chain, and slip stitch into the next stitch. Now we're going to do a single crochet into the next 3 stitches, 1, 2 and 3, half double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, slip stitch into the next stitch. Do our last strip, so chain 3, half double crochet into the second chain, single crochet in the third chain, and we're gonna slip stitch into the next stitch. For this one, we're gonna go into both loops. Now chain 1 and fasten off. Later on, we're gonna glue down the strips onto the side of the caramel, so hide this yarn end. Let's make pom-pom. Grab your lighter colored yarn, start with a magic ring, we're gonna make 6 single crochet into the magic ring, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now pull on the tail to close the hole. We're not going to join with a slip stitch, it's going to be a continuous round. For the next round, we're going to start by making an increase, which is 2 single crochet into the same stitch into the first stitch. So increase into the first stitch, so 1 single crochet. I'm going to add my stitch marker now, and 1 more into the same stitch, 2 single crochet. Now we're going to make the first ear. To make the ear, we're going to chain 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Skip the first 2 chains and start in the 3rd chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3. Make a double crochet into this 3rd chain. Double crochet into the next chain. Half double crochet into the next 2 chains. 1 and 2. Single crochet into the next 2 chains. 1 and 2. Now we're gonna slip stitch into the previous stitch that we made. This stitch, as you can see, there's a V here. Insert your hook into this V like that and slip stitch. Now we have made 1 ear. Now we're gonna increase into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're gonna make the other ear. Repeat the same thing. Chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Skip the first 2 chains and double crochet into the 3rd chain. Double crochet into the next chain. Half double crochet into the next 2 chains. Single crochet into the next 2 chains. And 2. And slip stitch into this V. And now we have 2 ears. Now we're going to increase into the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. So that is round 2. For round 3, we're going to do a single crochet and an increase in the next stitch. So single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase. I'll show you how to work over the ears. So start by making single crochet into the first stitch. 1, and add your stitch marker. Now increase into the next stitch, this one. So we have made a single crochet and an increase. So far, you can see we've worked into this stitch, and this is our next stitch. We have to push the ear here, and then we can work into the stitch. So single crochet in this stitch, like that. Increase in the next stitch. 1 and 2. Single crochet into the next stitch. Increase into the next stitch. Single crochet into the next stitch. Increase into the next stitch. Push the ear over. So a single crochet into the next stitch. Increase into the next stitch. Single crochet into the next stitch. Increase into the last stitch. round 3. Now for the next 3 rounds, we're just gonna make a single crochet into each stitch around. I've just finished round 6 and you can see pom-pom is starting to take shape. Ta-da! Now we're gonna start closing the bottom of pom-pom's head. So for round 7, we're gonna be working into the back loops only. These are the back loops, so we're gonna be working into the back loops only. Take your stitch marker off, and we're gonna do a single crochet and a decrease. The decrease is just single crochet 2 together. So start by making the single crochet into the first stitch, into the back loop only, single crochet, and take a stitch marker, put it back in. Now decrease into the next 2 stitches, like that, like that. Single crochet in the next stitch, decrease into the next 2 stitches, single crochet into the next stitch, decrease into the next 2 stitches, single crochet into the next stitch, decrease into the next 2 stitches, single crochet into the next stitch, decrease into the next 2 stitches, single crochet into the next stitch, and decrease for the last 2 stitches. Now we're gonna start stuffing. Okay, now it's all stuffed, and we're gonna do the final round. For this round, we're just gonna decrease all the way around. For this one, I'm gonna do an invisible decrease, where you insert your hook into the front loop of the first stitch, insert your hook into the front loop of the next stitch, yarn over, bring up 1 loop, yarn over, bring through both loops on your hook. Now I'm gonna add my stitch marker back in and make 5 more decrease all the way around. Now you can take off your stitch marker, and if you feel like it needs more stuffing, you can still add a bit more. I think mine is fine. To close this off, first slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 1, and leave a long tail for sewing, like so, and cut off your yarn. Now we're gonna close off this hole. We're gonna weave it to close. Grab your needle, thread the yarn through your needle. To weave it close, we're gonna weave the needle through the front loops of the stitches, so these loops. We're gonna weave it through like this, into, and that. And then 3 more stitches. And now you just have to pull it tight to close. Like that. And I usually just make a knot to close off. Thread it through pom-pom's head. And bring your needle back in through the next stitch. Like that. Ta-da! Now don't cut off the yarn yet because we're gonna use it to sew the head onto the cream. we're gonna make pom-pom's hat. So grab your brown yarn again, make a magic ring. So I've made my magic ring. Now we're gonna make 8 single crochets into the magic ring. And 8. Pull on the tail to close. And we're just gonna slip stitch to the top of the first stitch to close off this round. So that is round 1. You should have 8 single crochets total. Now for the next round, just make an increase into each stitch around. So increase 8 times. Start by doing a chain 1, single crochet into the same stitch as your chain 1, 1 and 2. So that is your first increase. Increase 2. Now we have made 2 increase, and now we have to do it 6 more times until you reach the end of the round. I've just made my 8th increase, so you should have 16 stitches in total. Slip stitch into the top of the first stitch to close the round. And so chain 1 and leave a long tail for sewing. Now weave in this end, the tail from the magic ring. So this is Pom-Pom's head. I'm gonna sew it onto his head. So tada, I've now sewed on the head. Now I'm gonna embroider the face details. To make the face, just grab some of your brown yarn. Cut about this much of yarn. You can use embroidery thread to make the face details, but I'm just gonna split the yarn. I'm gonna grab 2 strands like that. Try to figure out the center of Pom-Pom's face. Mine is roughly around here. Insert my needle somewhere nearby and bring it out through the middle of the face. It's best to use a smaller embroidery needle for this actually. And I'm going to insert it into this stitch right here, so it looks like this. Yeah, I like how that looks, so I'm going to insert my needle here and bring it back out like that. Just bring your needle out. And then I'm gonna insert it. And then I need it to look like this, so I'm gonna insert my needle around here. Before that, I'm gonna have to decide where I want the eyes. I think I'll do the eyes between these 2 stitches. So I'm gonna bring my needle out here. Like that. And then I think I'm gonna make the eyes 2 stitches wide. So this is first stitch, this is the second stitch. So I'm gonna insert my needle here and bring it back out this stitch, because we're gonna go over these 2 stitches multiple times to make the eyes bigger. Pull it tight a bit, so like that. Do this 3 more times. 1, 2 and 3. For this third, so for this eye, I did it 1 stitch apart from the mouth, so I'm gonna do the same for the next side. 1 stitch, and I'm gonna go make the eye between these 2 stitches right here, 1 and 2. So I'm gonna bring my needle out about here. And 2 stitches below this one. pull it a bit tight and repeat that 3 more times. Oopsie. Okay, before we finish off the eye, we're gonna make the last thing we're gonna embroider is his nose. So the nose is just 1 stitch wide. Insert my needle, bring it out beside the nose, beside the mouth, around here, in the same line as the middle, and bring my needle out and bring it over here, 1 stitch apart, go out through the previous hole, like that. I'm gonna repeat that 3 more times. And 3. And before I make the 3rd one, I'm going to bring my needle out from the same stitch as the beginning, here. Ta-da! I just pushed the mouth a bit to make it curve a little bit. Ta-da! So now we have these 2 strands coming out from the same stitch, so we just tie it off. I already knotted it twice, now I'm going to cut it off and hide the ends. Ta-da! Let's pom-pom's head. I'm going to make the cream, so grab your white yarn, make a magic ring. For the first round, we're going to make 6 single crochet into the magic ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pull the tail. Cream, we won't be needing a stitch marker as we'll just slip stitch to close each round. So slip stitch to the top of the first stitch and slip stitch. For round 2, start with a chain 1. Chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so begin your first stitch of each round into the same stitch as your chain 1. So this stitch right here. So for round 2, we're going to do increase 6 times. So increase in each stitch around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Slip stitch to the first stitch and slip stitch. For round 3, we're going to do a single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase all the way around. So start with a chain 1, single crochet into the same stitch, increase into the next stitch, 1 and 2, single crochet into the next stitch, increase into the next stitch. Repeat that all the way around. Slip stitch into the top of the first stitch. And that is round 3. And now for round 4, we're going to do single crochet, increase. Single crochet, increase. So start with a chain 1, single crochet into the same stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, increase into the third stitch, 1 and 2, single crochet, increase. One more time, single crochet, and increase. Repeat that all the way around. I've reached the end of the round and now slip stitch to close. Next round, for round 5, we're gonna work into the front loops only. So This is the back loop, this is the front loop. The loops closest to you. Start by chaining 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm gonna do a treble crochet cluster. To do that, yarn over twice, insert your hook into the first chain that you made, this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, into the first chain. Insert your hook, yarn over, bring up 1 loop, yarn over, bring through the first 2 loops, yarn over, bring through the next 2 loops, and stop here. Now I'm going to yarn over twice again, 1 and 2, insert your hook into the same chain space, yarn over, grab your hook, yarn over, bring through the first 2 loops, yarn over, bring through the next 2 loops, and we're gonna do that 1 more time. Yarn over twice, insert your hook into the same chain, yarn over, bring up 1 loop, yarn over, bring through the first 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, bring through the next 2 loops. You should have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, bring through all 4 loops. Now push this out a bit, like this. Now skip the first 3 stitches. This is our first stitch, the same stitch as our chain 5. 1, 2, 3, and into the front loops only of the 4th stitch. This is our 4th stitch. Into the front loops only, slip stitch, like that. Again, now chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Treble crochet cluster again, yarn over twice, insert your hook into the first chain, yarn over, bring up 1 loop, yarn over, bring through the first 2 loops, yarn over, bring through the next 2 loops. 2 loops on your hook. Now yarn over twice, insert your hook into the same chain, and bring up 1 loop. Yarn over, bring through the first 2 loops. Yarn over, bring through the next 2 loops. If it helps, you can hold on to these loops as you're making the next treble crochet. 1 more time, yarn over twice, insert your hook into the same chain, yarn over, bring up 1 loop, yarn over, bring through the first 2 loops, yarn over, bring through the next 2 loops. Now 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, bring through all 4 loops. Push it out a bit, skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, into the front loop only of the 4th stitch, slip stitch. Like that. We're basically going to repeat that all the way around until you have a total of 6 clusters. So I have 6 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you grab your pom-pom, it fits perfectly onto the cream. Now chain 1 and leave a long tail for sewing. Now grab your red yarn and we're gonna make the cherry on top. Start with a magic ring. Make 6 single crochet into the magic ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. For round 2, we're going to make an increase in each stitch around. So start by making your first single crochet. And put in your stitch marker. Make another single crochet into the same stitch. So that's your first increase. And increase 5 more times. And for the next one, we're just going to make a single crochet in each stitch around, so you'll have a total of 12 stitches. We'll make your first single crochet, insert your stitch marker, and just single crochet all the way around. And the next one will be our final round. We're going to do 6 decrease all the way around. So make your first decrease, invisible decrease, insert your hook into the front loop of the first stitch and into the front loop of the next stitch, yarn over, bring through both loops, yarn over, bring through both loops, and that is your first decrease. Now put your stitch marker back on and now decrease 5 more times. Now you should have 6 stitches in total. Grab your stuffing and stuff the cherry. Your stitch marker, slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 1 and fasten off, leaving a long tail. About this much will do. You're gonna close the hole, so grab your needle, thread the tail through your needle, and similar to before, we're just gonna weave the front loops to close the hole. So like this. Make sure you push the stuffing in, and now just pull the tail. Secure it by making a knot, and bring your needle and tail through the cherry all the way to the top, but don't go out of the middle hole for the magic ring. Go through a stitch next to it, like around here, and now take your needle off. Don't cut off the tail yet because we're going to be making the stem. Grab your hook, insert your hook into the middle of your cherry, this hole here, and bring your hook out from the same stitch as your yarn tail. It's a bit hard. Now yarn over, bring out the loop through the hole like that, and now chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now bring the tail all the way out. Cut the tail close to the chain, but not too close because it might unravel. And I'm just going to glue the cherry onto pom-pom. So now I have everything, and what we're going to do first is glue on the bottom to the bottom of the box. And I press it in a bit. So now I've already glued on the top part as well, and now we're gonna start gluing down the drips. Ta-da! So now all the pieces have been glued on, and now it's time for the fun part. Sprinkles! So that's it for today's tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed making your own caramel purin. And if you do make one, make sure you tag me on Instagram at prettyknotty. And yeah, I think it's such a cute and fun project. You can keep all your cute little trinkets and accessories inside it. So yeah, you guys should definitely make one of your own, and I would love to see it if you tag me on Instagram. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.